Bonjour tout le monde, j'espère que vous allez bien aujourd'hui. So, in this video, we are going to look at the relative pronouns qui, que, ou, et dont. Now, the learning intention for this video is to increase the accuracy and the complexity of both our writing and speech in French. And we're going to use relative pronouns to do that. All right, so what is a relative pronoun? I'm going to explain what this concept looks like in English first. So a relative pronoun is a pronoun that links a dependent clause to the main clause of a sentence. Now, let's try and recap. What's a main clause and what's a dependent clause? So in the example below, we have the film that she is watching is a classic. Now, the text in blue is the main clause. This is a part of a sentence that could exist on its own. It makes sense. So the film is a classic makes sense. However, the dependent clause we've got there is in red. And the dependent clause that she is watching, that doesn't make sense on its own. It lacks context. So the dependent clause depends on the main clause to have meaning. And we can see that in this particular example, the word that is the relative pronoun because the word that is connecting the main clause and the dependent clause. What are some other examples of relative pronouns in English? Well, they could be who, that, which, whom, whose, and where. Any of those could be a relative pronoun. So the first one we're going to do is qui. Now, I expect that you've seen qui and que before, and you're already using them in your writing. So qui could be translated in English as who, that, or which. It's a relative pronoun that stands in for the subject of a dependent clause. Qui can refer to either people or to things. It's not like who in English, which usually refers to people. This can refer to people or things. It's referring to the subject. And how can you actually tell which one to use? Well, when in your writing, qui is going to go before a conjugated verb. So if your relative your dependent clause starts with a verb, a conjugated verb, you're probably going to use qui. Now, let's explore this example. We're going to make these two sentences into one by linking them using the relative pronoun qui. J'ai une voiture, elle ne marche pas. I have a car, it is not working. So in English, we would say, I have a car that is not working. And here we're going to write, j'ai une voiture qui ne marche pas. J'ai une voiture qui ne marche pas. So we have replaced elle, which is the subject of the sentence, elle ne marche pas, with qui. And we've got one sentence now, which is more sophisticated and much neater and tidier. Okay, prenez vos stylos. All right, you now have a chance to practice using qui to put two sentences together. So faites une seule phrase en utilisant qui. We're going to do number one together, and then I'm going to leave you to do 2 and 3 individually. So you may wish to pause the video at the end of 1 to write down your answers to 2 and 3 individually. So, Juliette Binoche est une actrice. Cette actrice a joué dans... So we can see here, we've got une actrice, cette actrice. What we want to do is replace cette actrice with the pronoun qui to 1, avoid being repetitive, and 2, to put these two sentences together. And cette actrice is the subject of the second sentence because this actress has played this role. What does this look like? So Juliette Binoche est une actrice qui a joué dans Le Patient anglais. Okay, your turn now. Pause the video and complete 2 and 3. All right, let's correct 2 and 3. Christian Lecroix est un grand couturier. Il crie de belles robes, de très belles robes. Pardon. So our response is going to be Christian Lecroix est un grand couturier qui crie de très belles robes. Toi. Jean-Louis Etienne est un explorateur. Il a traversé le pôle Noir en solitaire. So we are going to be replacing il in the second sentence with the pronoun qui. Jean-Louis Etienne est un explorateur qui a traversé le pôle Nord en solitaire. All right, we're going to move on now to look at the pronoun, the relative pronoun, que. So, the relative pronoun que could be translated as who, whom, that, or which in English. And this relative pronoun stands in for the direct object. The direct object in a dependent clause. Que can refer to both people or things. There's no distinction. And if you're trying to work out in your writing, how do I use this? Well, que is going to come before a relative pronoun. Sorry, it's going to come at the beginning of a relative clause that starts with a subject. And unlike in English, you cannot omit que like you can omit that. So here's an example. So if we've got 2 sentences, les mangues viennent de Queensland. J'achète ces mangues. Mangoes come from Queensland. I am buying these mangoes. Now here, mangoes is the direct object. J'achète, subject, verb, ces mangues, object. We are going to replace this direct object with the pronoun que. What does this look like? Les mangues que j'achète viennent de Queensland. The mangoes that I am buying come from Queensland. And we can see, as I've said before, we've got que followed by a subject. So qui is always going to come before a verb that's conjugated, whereas que is always going to come before a subject. Okay. We are going to practice with que, and we're going to make one sentence out of 2. We're going to do 1 together, and then you're going to pause the video and you're going to do 2 and 3 by yourself. Faites une seule phrase en utilisant que. Now, for this relative pronoun, we are able to omit the final E and make it an apostrophe. And we do this when it comes before a vowel. However, we will never do this with qui. You always leave the final I. All right, let's look at 1 together. Annabelle fait un bon gâteau. Tu vas aimer ce gâteau. So, ce gâteau, this is the direct object. You are going to replace ce gâteau with the relative pronoun que. And this is what the sentence is going to look like. Annabelle fait un bon gâteau que tu vas aimer. Annabelle is making a great cake that you're going to love. Okay, pause the video and do 2 and 3 by yourself. All right, let's correct 2 and 3 now. So 2. Mes parents m'ont offert un téléphone portable. Je ne l'utilise pas. My parents have given me a mobile phone. I don't use it. Now, it here is the direct object. We're going to replace this with que. This is what it's going to look like. Mes parents m'ont offert un téléphone portable que je ne l'utilise pas. My parents have given me a mobile phone that I don't use. All right, 3. Nous voulons voir le film. Tout le monde a déjà vu ce film. We want to see the film. Everybody has already seen this film. This film is the object. We are going to replace it with que. This is what it looks like. Nous voulons voir le film que tout le monde a déjà vu. We want to see the film that everybody has already seen.